Dolphins tight end Jonnu Smith has burst onto the scene as one of the NFL's most dominant at the position over the last few weeks, putting together 3 straight top 5 fantasy finishes at his position over the last 3 games. Will Miami's dynamic tight end be able to carry your fantasy team through your league's playoffs? Let's watch the film to find out. So for our first clip here, we're going to see man coverage across the board from the Raiders. Matchups over here, one-on-one. We have one safety playing a deep zone back here. He's going to take on the player in the backfield. Beckham on this corner. And then our guy, Jonnu Smith, on this defender number 7 right here. So Tyreek Hill is going to be the first read on this play, and he ends up getting a lot of separation and the football. He's going to run out into the flat here, and Jalen Waddle is going to run a curl right here. Jack Jones, the corner, gets shaken on the release, tries to follow Hill, but gets caught up on Jalen Waddle right here, like I'm assuming the play is designed for him to be. So Hill has a lot of space over here and is able to work upfield for a sizable gain. But what we're going to pay attention to is Jonnu Smith. He's just going to run a post over the middle of the field into the end zone. He's going to get open here. So, I mean, if Tyreek wasn't open on the first read there, we could have definitely seen a Jonnu Smith touchdown on this play. He's going to do a really nice job leaning this route to the left and then breaking it off at the top of the route super sharply. So when the corner thinks he's going to break to the outside, he actually breaks upfield to the right, so the corner has to take a rounded angle to get back to Jonnu Smith. So he's able to get a lot of separation out of it, and having a tight end that can separate in man-to-man coverage is a huge plus for any offense, especially an offense like Miami, who likes to get the ball in their hands of their fast, athletic playmakers like Jonnu Smith, like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert, etc. Tua snaps it, and right here, you can see Jonnu Smith leaning this to the left, trying to fool the corner that he's going to break out onto maybe a corner route, but as we're going to see, he's going to break upfield, get a lot of separation on this route. Jonnu Smith, ton of separation right over here. Definitely could have gotten the touchdown there, but also a good choice going to Tyreek. Let him work. One more time at full speed. Jonnu Smith, number 9, ton of separation over the middle. This next play, we're going to see man coverage again. Jonnu Smith is going to run up and out on kind of like a softer out route, if you want to call it that. And he's going to be given a chance to just go up, make a play, high point the football, and he's going to have an opportunity for a contested catch in the back of the end zone here. Obviously, being a tight end, he has a size advantage over this defensive back who's in coverage on him. Man-to-man coverage, Jonnu Smith, number 9. And right here, Tua is gearing up for this throw, and it's going to end up over Jonnu Smith's head, so he's going to have to go up and try to high point the football. But really, if Tua's able to put this ball out in front of Smith, maybe like right here, he's already kind of beaten the defensive back on him. He has the speed to keep outrunning him. So if this ball is just out in front of Jonnu Smith in stride, he could really catch us for a touchdown. He already has a step on the defensive back. If he just keeps going to the sideline, Tua really has a chance to put it right out in front of him in stride for a touchdown. But it's going to be more on this side of him, more up in the air for him to try to jump up and make the high point catch. So we'll see how that turns out. Tua fires and just broken up, just a little high. You could argue Jonnu Smith should have gotten that, reeled in for a touchdown, but the throw was just maybe a little high for him to reel that in. I wouldn't be surprised if the play design was just to be a fade up top to Jonnu Smith for him to make that high point catch, but nonetheless, it looked like there was an opportunity for the ball to be just put right out in front of him after he beat the defender on the route to the outside. Still an okay throw, but really encouraging for fantasy to see Jonnu Smith getting these red zone opportunities. And we've seen him score a ton of touchdowns over the last few weeks, so seeing a consistent amount of those opportunities is really encouraging for fantasy football. Our next play here, we're going to see man coverage. Jonnu Smith with number 20, I believe it is, right here. They're going to take advantage of Jonnu Smith's athletic ability, bring him in motion across the formation, and snap the ball when he's on the run over here. This safety is going to try to keep up in man coverage, but by the time Jonnu Smith is out in a full sprint, he's beaten him, allowing just a small window for Tua to fit this in, but it's a perfectly timed throw from Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback, and it goes for a touchdown. So on this play, again, you'll see that athletic ability from Smith and a perfect throw from Tua, and we'll go through this play real quick. Smith coming in motion right now across the formation. Ball is snapped. You can see already Smith turning this upfield. He already has a step on this defensive back for it to be fit in around this spot right here. Tua sees him. First read. It's going to be a great throw right around there. Smith turns around to make the catch. The ball is placed right where the defensive back cannot make a play on it, and it's a perfectly timed play for this Miami offense. Touchdown, Jonnu Smith, and we'll see the replay. Smith on the left side here coming across the formation. Tua snaps it. Perfect throw. Defensive back can't do a thing about it. Touchdown. So for our next play here, we're going to see a play right before halftime for the Dolphins offense. So the Raiders are going to be playing a lot of deep zone coverage here just to prevent any kind of huge play from getting the Dolphins into field goal range. And we're going to see most of these guys drop back past the 35-yard line here, except one, I believe. So only one guy within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, more or less. So the Dolphins decide just pop off a quick little play to get a few more yards with 18 seconds left in the half. They're going to have the receivers run deeper routes downfield, taking away some of the zone coverage from the boundaries here. And that's going to open up Jonnu Smith, who initially starts to block the edge rusher here. I think that's Max Crosby. But then he's going to leak out of the block, pass Crosby off the tackle, and be here waiting for the pass from Tua. And there's going to be no one left here to prevent him from getting a ton of yards upfield, getting a ton of yards after the catch. So we'll watch the play here. Tua snaps it, and right away, we see these deep routes forming down the field. Everybody drops back into deep zone coverage. And we see Jonnu Smith on the edge of this offensive line, putting a block on. And again, just take note how much space there is right here because these defenders going downfield to play coverage on Tyreek Hill. Smith, right there, passes the edge rusher onto the tackle. He's waiting for the ball right here from Tua. There's the pass, ton of space to work with, puts the angle on the defender, and gets a decent amount of yards, keeping this drive going for the Dolphins. On the next play here, we're going to see a zone coverage from the Raiders defense. So initially, it looks like cover one with just one high safety. But then when the ball is snapped, we're going to see these two defenders come back into deep zone coverage as well, making this cover three with these three deep zones down the field. Then these four defenders are going to spread out into zones over the middle as well. So we're going to have zones all over here. And then a four-man rush from the front. Jonnu Smith is going to run in, up, and then into a corner route right here. And you can see with the zone coverage here, there's space here in this whole shot on the sideline. Where these two defenders are going to be here and here, there's space right here for Jonnu Smith to make this play. And what's going to widen that space is, I believe the running back runs a route into the flat, and this defender is going to move to guard that, increasing the space even more. So really, in short, Jonnu Smith just finding the soft spot in the zone coverage. It's just good to see how many different spots the Dolphins line up Jonnu Smith at. We're going to see him all over the field throughout this film study. Right now, he's on the outside of the formation, which isn't super typical of tight ends. But we're going to see him run a nice route and get some separation. So it's good to see them use him all over the field, take advantage of his athletic ability. And he's been a blast to watch so far this year. So really good signing for them, and a really good pickup for a lot of these fantasy teams as well. So we'll go ahead and watch the play. Tua snaps it. Right here, you can see these two defenders kind of being pulled down by this route in the flat. 25 running to his deep zone back here, and here's the space for Smith to go into. Breaks out, makes a great leaping catch through contact. Exactly what you want to see from your tight end. Going up and making the catch. This next play, we're going to see Jonnu Smith run a seam route just up the middle. And then the running back, Raheem Mostert, kind of run a hitch over to this spot right here. And then the other tight end, he's going to run out off the motion and out here. This next play is just kind of a defensive breakdown for Las Vegas. We're going to see these two players switch places when the ball is snapped. As 25 is rotating back to the middle of the field, he's just not going to pick up Jonnu Smith. He's going to instead stick to the running back, Raheem Mostert, who runs this route here. And Jonnu Smith, for whatever reason, is just going to come wide open over the middle of the field for an easy touchdown for this Dolphins offense. So watch him on that seam right here. Jonnu Smith is already calling for the football. That's how open he knows he is. 25, he must think that he has help over the top. So he goes down to play Raheem Mostert right here, but he doesn't. Jonnu Smith comes wide open. And Tua, easiest decision of his life. Wide open, no one within 15 yards of him, and is able to outrun the defense for a touchdown. We'll see the replay. And Jonnu Smith on the edge of your screen, the far right side. And Tua snaps it. And again, just no one within 15 yards of Jonnu Smith when he catches the ball. Tua isn't able to put all the air under it he needs because under pressure, but it doesn't matter because of how open Smith was. So, yeah, huge play. This next play here, we're going to see a cover three again. Gonzalez is going to drop back into a deep zone with the deep safety back here, and then this player, Marcus Jones, goes into a deep zone as well. Kyle Duggar, the safety, is going to come up to where the linebackers are at the start of this play. He's going to play a zone, and the rest of them just playing zones over the middle of the field as well. This isn't drawn to scale, just showing you an idea of what the coverage is going to look like. But with Duggar's zone over here, they're going to bring Jonnu Smith in motion, and when the ball is snapped, he's going to still be running at full speed and go to this sideline right here. This receiver is going to run a hitch right into Duggar's zone, holding him in place because he wants to guard this receiver here. And then Marcus Jones is way too far upfield to be able to do anything about Jonnu Smith right when he gets the ball. So Duggar can't get to the outside. Marcus Jones too far upfield. And that allows Jonnu Smith to have a ton of space to work with, and you'll see what I mean. We'll go ahead and start the play. Smith, number 9 in motion, Ball is snapped, and right here, ball's in the air, but yeah, Duggar held in this zone, and Marcus Jones too far upfield. So Jonnu Smith makes the catch, good throw from Tua, and gets some extra yards there. And again, this Dolphins offense uses a lot of motion, so it's good to see Jonnu Smith being involved heavily with that part of the offense, and them designing up these touches for him with a lot of upside for this offense. So let's go on to the next clip. So this next play here, we're going to see two high safeties for the Patriots. They're going to play deep zones back there. And then we have a variety of zones over the middle of the field. We're going to see Jonnu Smith here run a really nice route up, out, and then up again. Just a really good example of tight end route running. Just getting through his breaks super quick, making them super snappy and hard to follow for this defense. There's going to be a lot of space in this zone coverage over the middle of the field. At the beginning of the play, Tua is going to look over to his right side, and because the defense is reading Tua's eyes in this zone coverage, the linebacker is going to move over to the right side of the field, making a lot more space here for Jonnu to work in. The guys on the left side of the field over here staying in their zones, and the linebacker, who I think is Jelani Tavai, has moved over, watching Tua's eyes. Smith out. You can see the linebacker moving to the right side of the field, watching Tua's eyes. Going to make a lot of space over here. Then Smith turns it back upfield. Really nice job turning it up quickly, and a great throw from Tua. We'll see the replay here. A really fantastic throw and quick skate in the field from Tua, and a great route from Smith, number 9, as we'll see. Watch Smith out and then turns it up super fast. Great throw, good catch. Fantastic play. This next play is going to be a fantastic example of the Dolphins distracting the defense with their great wide receivers. First of all, we're going to see 8-Chan, the running back, motion over this way. And then we're going to see just 3 routes over the middle from this offense, from Waddle, Tyreek, and Odell Beckham Jr. This causes pretty much the whole defense to fly to the left side of the field, hoping that one of these speedy receivers is not going to catch a touchdown. But in reality, Miami is getting the ball into the hands of their athletic tight end, Jonnu Smith, right down here. Originally, he's going to block the edge defender at first. The safety Duggar is going to assume he's blocking, back off just a little bit, move his eyes over to this part of the defense. But then once Jonnu Smith goes into this shallow crossing route, he's going to have backed off too much to be able to come back to it in time, because Jonnu Smith already has the ball in his hands and is flying upfield into the end zone for a touchdown. So a great example of distraction from this Dolphins offense and great execution against the defense. So go ahead and start the play. Tua, CHN in motion, bringing everybody over to that right side of the field. Right there, everybody has their eyes right here and here on the defense. Duggar has even moved his eyes over that way. He assumes Smith is blocking, but Smith going to break out here. And there he goes, shallow crosser. No one is over the middle of the field to guard him. Tua finds him and trucks himself into the end zone. Great play. Next play here, we're going to see a design touch for Jonnu Smith, who lines up in the backfield at first but comes out in motion. He's going to get out here, get the screen pass from Tua, and he's going to have a ton of blockers in front of him. Then we're going to see the move he puts on the defense and flies down the field for a pretty sizable gain on this screen pass. So we'll go ahead and watch the play. Smith out in motion. Tua looks at him immediately. There's the screen pass. He's got 2 blockers right in front of him. He's going to break this to the outside rather than going in between them. Smith breaks outside, puts the angle on the defense, and gets a pretty solid gain out of it. Good stuff. So against the Packers here, we're going to see a cover 2 from Green Bay. 2 deep safeties back here. Zones over the middle. We're going to see the receiver down here run just a hitch against this defender, holding him in place right here. Smith is going to run a corner route into this hole shot right here. And of course, here's the zone, here's the zone, here's the zone. No one's over here on the sideline to defend it. He's going to be open, make a great catch for a pretty big gain for this Dolphins offense. On a night where Miami struggled mightily against the Packers, but Jonnu Smith was one of the highlights of the night, and this is why. He finds a soft spot in this coverage, gets to the hole shot in the cover 2, and is able to make a pretty good gain. So we'll go and watch the play. Smith, number 9, right here. You can already see it's zone coverage. They have their eyes on the quarterback on the defense. He's held down, and he's going to make his way right into the space here. Smith breaks outside. No one's on him. Good throw, good catch. Nice gain. Checking out some of the advanced stats now for Jonnu Smith. He's come onto the scene recently, or fully breaking out recently, but he still is 6th in targets in the league for tight ends with 72 right there, which is a pretty elite number for the volume you're getting in fantasy football, because that volume is hard to come by with tight ends. He has 58 receptions off that as well for 4 touchdowns, most of those coming in the last 3 weeks. Looking at his receiving grade specifically, that's going to be 4th in the league with 84.2, higher than guys like Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta, guys like that who are up towards the top of the list consistently on these stats. Jonnu Smith is pacing all of them, only behind the 3 most elite tight ends in the league: George Kittle, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, the names that everyone knows. And again, these numbers are just for tight ends with at least 15 targets on the year, just to eliminate any outliers. But snaps out wide, we mentioned Jonnu Smith as one of the most versatile tight ends in the league. Snaps out wide, he ranks 3rd in the whole league with 79. And lined up out wide, he's lined up there 23.6% of the time, which is, again, 3rd in the league. Also, just looking at pure yards after the catch, he's also 3rd in that stat with 353 total yards after the catch. So he's getting all those extra yards for each reception, which of course translates to more fantasy points. And then yards per route run, he's getting 2.17, just showing that incredible efficiency he's had, especially over the last 3 weeks. I do expect him to keep this up. He's a major part of this Dolphins game plan, and these stats are all really encouraging as you head into the fantasy football playoffs. So what can we gather from all this? Jonnu Smith is one of the most explosive tight ends of the league, and he's on the perfect offense for that. The Dolphins line him up everywhere. They recognize his versatility, his athletic ability at the tight end position, where sometimes that can be rare to find. And Jonnu Smith is thriving in Miami. This is the perfect system for his skill set. They're able to get him moving in motion and take advantage of his speed, his athleticism. He didn't fully break out until a couple weeks ago, but he's been top 5 in many fantasy categories at the tight end position since. I don't expect this to stop. He's pretty much already their number 2 receiving option behind Tyreek Hill. Targets-wise, he's getting around 9 or 10 targets a game since he really broke out back in Week 11. And we've seen he's doing a lot with those targets. He's getting open. He's getting the ball in his hands, and like we saw in those PFF stats, he's getting yards after the catch. That's going to be really valuable in fantasy football, stacking up those points and helping you to win those playoff matchups going forward. Another big thing we saw, those red zone targets. He's getting chances in the red zone to catch touchdowns, and he's been able to convert them into scores many times with 3 touchdowns over the last 3 weeks, and that's absolutely huge if you have him on your fantasy team. So it looks like he's going to be one of the league winners for fantasy football this year. Congrats if you have him on your roster, but I think he's a must-start going forward. No matter what the matchup is, he's been absolutely fantastic the last few weeks, and like the film showed, the film backed it up. He is elite in fantasy football, and this Miami offense knows exactly how to use him and to utilize his skill set to perfection. It's been a few years since this Miami team had a true tight end to rely on, but I think they finally have it in Jonnu Smith because this was a match made in heaven in free agency when he signed there. But again, going forward, I think he's a must-start in fantasy football and can be started with confidence on playoff teams looking for that league championship. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Joe, and this is Fantasy Trading Room.